If you are a leftist, you may find it difficult to convince someone of leftist ideas, or even that they are workers in the traditional sense. This may seem strange, especially since it may be obvious to you that if they were to organize into a union, they could get more out of their job, or even be treated better. You may even have heard someone say that they aren't political, and then go on to complain about their job, their boss, or their landlord. This kind of statement is especially baffling because all of the things can be solved almost exclusively by leftism, but they don't see the problem as political. This hypothetical person is suffering under what is called false consciousness. False consciousness is when workers are tricked into accepting their exploitation by elites. This was written about by Karl Marx and Richard Engels, but it was expanded on by Tony Gramsci, talking about a cultural hegemony. A cultural hegemony is when the ruling class uses cultural norms to establish a false consciousness. Like how in America, we are tricked into believing in the American dream and the Protestant work ethic. We are taught in America if we just work hard, we can make it as well, even though as time goes on, this is proven to be more and more false. In fact, America is possibly the best example of cultural hegemony, to the point where we often reject that we have a class system in the first place. As Ron Wright put it, socialism never took hold in America because Americans see themselves not as exploited proletariat, but as temporarily embarrassed millionaires. A great example of a modern-day false consciousness is Tucker Carlson on Fox News, where he frames himself to be against elites, even though not only is he a millionaire and comes from a multimillionaire family, he spends most of his time saying his problems are not the actual elites, rather Democrats, immigrants, or feminists, while ignoring the things that hurt people. A great in-depth video is Carlos Mata's video on it. I'll put a link in the description. Now you may be wondering how we can stop this, and the answer is by developing what is called class consciousness. Class consciousness has two main functions. One, a recognition that you are a member of the working class, and two, that you be an organizing representing that class's interests. Recognizing that you're in a working class is a major step in developing class consciousness, but is only half the battle. Organizing and working to further your class's interests may seem difficult, but there are many ways you can. Organizing can be anything from forming a union to voting, or even participating or supporting a revolution. There are also many organizations that can help with this, like the IWW can help you in forming a union. And if you're an American, you can vote and campaign for left-wing candidates like Howie Hawken, who's running for president in 2020, or smaller candidates like Shahid Buttar, who seeks to replace Nancy Pelosi and bring real left-wing change to the Democrats. It's a very important part of this is the rich have had class consciousness for a long time and have been working for their interests through lobbying and interest groups who have millions of dollars and can argue for their case more than workers. The rich have a serious head start on us when it comes to this, and it's important that we start organizing now. Remember, they only call it class warfare when we fight back.